guys, so for Tech Talk today, we're going to be showing you guys how we put together a planetary and a wheel tether assembly. We're going through Bad Habit here for first quarter, and we already checked our axles. We pulled our spindles off, checked the inner and outer axle shafts, re-greased our Rosepas between the two shafts, put our spindle back on, retorqued all the bolts. So now the last thing to do is put the planetary on and the wheel tether. So we're going to show you guys how we do it. It can be done with one guy, but it's a lot easier with two. The hubs are pretty darn heavy, and they've gotten even heavier now with all the wheel tether stuff that they got to be hanging off the back. I'm not sure what they weigh, but they're a lot. They're definitely well over 100 pounds each. So we'll put that together, and we'll kind of show you the process here. So we got our hub on, and then what you saw Jared put inside here is the bowl gear. Basically the planetary gears ride inside this fixed ring gear, and then they're bolted to the hub and they spin the hub. So now we're going to tighten up our spindle nuts. It's not always that you have the luxury to take your time doing this. It's usually in a mad rush at a show, and you got a tech official breathing down your neck that you got 15 minutes to get one of these things changed out, get a broken spindle fixed or broken axle shaft. Jared's getting started there on putting the wheel tether together. This stuff's great on your back. So basically what I'm putting on here now, this little, I don't know what you call it, but it's like a little locking mechanism. It slides onto the spindle and has these little tabs that bend over that lock themselves onto the spindle nuts so the nuts don't start to back off, because if these start to back off, the whole corner is going to be flopping around in the air and cause all kinds of trouble. Now both spindle nuts are on and a little tab is in the middle. I'll take these tabs, I'll bend one that way and I'll bend one this way. All right, now that that's all together, you make sure your hub spins nice and free. Make sure it's tight, because if you got a bearing on the back side of the hub that's starting to go out, even if you get all these spindle nuts tight, the hub will still be loose. So once you put it all together, you want to make sure the hub's nice and snug and spinning freely. We can't put our planetary gears in yet because we have to install the wheel tether, which Jared's doing right now. As you can see, it's a time-consuming process to keep these trucks safe, to keep the spectators safe, keep everybody safe out there on the track with these wheel tether systems that have been developed. I don't know, I'd say probably over the past 10 years, they've kind of somewhat been perfected. They're definitely heavy, and they add a lot of time to doing things like this or repairs, but it's definitely necessary, and there's no promoters that I'm aware of out there that'll even let a monster truck run in their show without these wheel tethers. What's up, guys? We're giving you the opportunity to win parts off my truck, Bad Habit, and not just any parts. These are the brake rotors that were slinging sparks all year long on Bad Habit. We're on the truck for the Guinness World Record speed run at Summit Motorsports Park during Night Under Fire. You saw them lit on fire at the Canfield Outlaw Monster Truck Drags. Now they can be hanging on your wall. We got two brake rotors here. They're warped as hell. They're beat up, and I signed them with an engraving tool. Got my name, Bad Habit 22. So we're gonna have two lucky winners to win a brake rotor and a Bad Habit t-shirt. We're gonna have two different giveaways, one on YouTube, one on Facebook and Instagram. Facebook and Instagram will be joined together as one. So what we're gonna need you to do, if you're not already following me, give me a follow, like the video, comment and tag 3 friends in the comment, and you're gonna be entered to win one of these brake rotors and a t-shirt. Same thing on YouTube. If you're not already following my channel, give me a follow, like and comment, and tag a couple people in your comment. So we're gonna pick a winner, let's say 2 different winners. We'll give it 2 weeks from the time we post this video, and we'll post it live on Instagram how we're choosing the winners. We're gonna go home with some really unique pieces. I've never given anything away like this before, so it's gonna be pretty unique for somebody to have hang on their wall. Basically, it's a system of rings. I'll go over here. There is basically these caps on top of the steering knuckle. You got a cap here and a cap here. You've got a ring on the inside, then you've got spacers, and you've got a ring on the outside. And when I say inside, outside, there's another big plate with a ring on it, almost looks like a brake rotor, attached to the back side of the hub. So that ring spins inside of the two rings that are attached to the steering knuckle. So the two purple rings here are attached to the knuckle and they're fixed, they don't move. The orange ring on the back of the hub spins with the wheel. So what that does is, in case the spindle breaks and this whole piece, this whole hub wants to break off the truck with the wheel attached, these two heavy duty rings catch it before it comes off the truck, and usually the wheel will just be leaning. You can get back into the pit. So, and then really, other than just for safety, it also helps you from tearing up too much other stuff too, because when these tires comes off, it tears up the body, it gets into the shocks, sway bars, it wreaks all kinds of havoc on just about everything. So this kind of prevents some of that from happening, unless you keep on going with a broken spindle and then you tear everything all up. There's 8 of these big bolts, grade 8 bolts, that are holding those wheel tethers on. While he's finishing that up, I'll go ahead and put our planetary on, but I won't put the sun gear in it just yet. So this is our planetary, which is multiple parts. You've got the hub, you've got the bowl gear and the ring gear, and you've got the actual planetary gears themselves. This is what makes basically a monster truck a monster truck. This is what allows us to be able to turn 800 pounds of tire on each corner with 1500 plus horsepower without completely destroying driveline parts like drive shafts, transmissions, axle shafts. This is a 3.5 to 1 gear reduction, which means basically it's 3.5 times faster than what the axle shaft is spinning. So that gear reduction is what allows us to be able to move the big old trucks around and big tires, and that's what also helps make the truck so quick off the line, is because we're geared so incredibly low. So you've got 3 planetary gears, and then you've got a sun gear that actually mounts. This is what actually attaches to our axle shaft. As the axle shaft spins, it spins this sun gear, which sits inside here, and as you see, it turns the planetary gears. As those planetary gears turn, it turns this hub, this outer part of the planetary, which is bolted to the hub, and that spins our wheel. So I guess that's the easiest way I can kind of describe what's going on here. You can go ahead and keep tightening. There's 20 bolts holding this planetary to this hub. You used to only have 10, but they started shearing off, so we doubled up the amount of bolts. So the reason I left the sun gear out was because you have to be able to spin this hub around to be able to get all the bolts lined up for the wheel tether. Also, we want to make sure that once it's all together, we put our drain plug at the top so we could fill this bad boy full of red line oil. So now we put the sun gear in. Now, as you can see, once the sun gear is in, you can't spin it, you can't free spin it anymore. So really, if we ever something breaks in the drive line and you got to move these trucks around, you can just remove these sun gears, and as long as it's not something blown apart inside here that's keeping the truck from rolling, the truck will just roll around. Some planetaries have basically like a little indent here that keeps this sun gear from walking. We actually need to put one of these on, and I need to put it on the inside of this sun gear. So I guess you guys get to see how we pull the sun gears out too. Usually they're a little tight in there. You got to grab a pair of pliers, grab it, yank it out of there. So this goes in here because the just some of these Planetaries that are different designs. We're still using Planetaries off of old Clark loaders. And back when these things were made, sometimes they made them with a backing plate in there, sometimes they didn't. So when that plate's not on there, this sun gear will kind of slide on the axle shaft and it'll chew up the end of the spindle. So to not have that happen, we have a custom little piece of Delrin that goes in there first that keeps it from hitting the spindle. Or not. The last thing we do is the outer cover for the sun gear, which is where? Right here. Basically, this cap just keeps oil in the hub, keeps the sun gear from coming out. That's it. That's how we rebuild Planetaries. Can't forget the juice. Each Planetary takes about 1 gallon of gear oil, and we prefer this really, really awesome Redline heavy shockproof. We run it in pretty much everything that requires gear oil: hubs, center sections, transfer case. It works really, really good on everything. It really holds its viscosity. It's nice and thick. It's just awesome stuff, just like the stuff we use in the motor. Everything from this company has been awesome so far.